Hello everybody, Ron Wildman here on Middle Georgia Spotlight. And it's shining on longtime bib commissioner and the head of Kids Yule Love, Joe Allen.
Glad to be here with you, Ron.
Good to have you with us. It's time of the year again.
It's that time of year we got to get started. We've had a lot of hiccups this year with COVID. A lot of issues come about that's put us behind the time right now. We're going to have to ask the folks to dig a little deeper if they can for us with the financial donations, because some of our locations, like our fire station here in Macon, we can't drop off anything there, so we're asking people to bring their donations through monetary means, and there'll be an address on the screen shortly to tell people where to bring those, to send those donations to.
Before we go much further, for new folks in the area, let's tell them what Kids Yule Love is all about.
Well, Kids Yule Love was started back in the 80s, and I owned a home inspection company, and I was a firefighter at the time, and we went and did an inspection on a home, and for this family, for a real estate, they looked at this family that needed help. A real estate person by the name of Jane Rosette was involved. She's now passed, but she was going to buy this house for these people, and the house was not livable. I mean, they had holes in the roof, holes in the floor. The house was in South Bibb or South Macon, and our people asked them, what were they going to do? And she sat back, the grandmother, and she said, "We don't know. We have no idea what we're going to do." Well, that kind of bothered me, and I asked Jody. This happened in August of that year. I asked Jody, I said, he was one of the 5 that lived in the house. It was a grandmother, her daughter, 2 sets of twins, and a single. And I asked him, I said, well, what are y'all going to do this year? She said, my grandmother works. I have to stay here at home and watch the kids and watch Jody. Jody was in a wheelchair. He had muscular dystrophy. And so it really bothered me. And so I went home, and the next day I came up with the idea of trying to help in a different way, help those that Salvation Army didn't get to, or their DFACs didn't get to.
You were talking about in general.
In general.
Prior to Christmas.
Yeah, I was talking about before Christmas, because I received a phone call that morning from Jane Rosette. She had decided to go over off of Houston Avenue at the time, prime locations, buy a house, and she put this family in there, and so they'd have a place to stay.
But they had nothing else.
They had nothing else, and it was a nice home that she placed them in, and Jody had a ramp for Jody to go up and down. He was in a wheelchair. Jody's brother, who had died the year before, they had been placed with the grandmother because the mother had died at the hands of the father, and the father died also at that particular time.
Just an overall bad situation.
It's one of the worst situations you could see.
Were you able to help them right away with just general things?
Yeah, we were helping a little bit. Jane had the largest part of it by having to buy a home to put them in. I mean, she just let them stay there as long as they needed to stay there. And even after we did Kids Yule Love, founded the program, they were still there.
You helped them at Christmas time for sure.
We're going to get to that. That it took, after that happened, that next day I told you, Don would work at Channel 13, the station you were at. You also in the radio station at WBML, WNEX,
Channel 24.
Channel 24, 41, all the TV stations, the Macon Telegraph and News. I had a meeting with everybody. I brought them all in. I even asked the people from Salvation Army to come. They refused at the time, but we work so closely now, it's just unbelievable. But at that particular time, they thought I was trying to take over their program, and I didn't. That was not my intent. But they all came together, and we saw there was a need to help those that fell through the cracks, like Jody Cotton did. And that particular Christmas, we had to come up with a name. Wayne Bevel, the Macon Rescue Mission, he was on our board also, as well as Don McGuirk and all the media. It was a media participation type program. And in doing so, I didn't know. I met Wayne Bevel said, Christmas, let's do it Christmas '86. I said, what are we going to do? Change it next year to Christmas '87? And he said, no, they don't go to it. So Bill Boyd, who used to be a writer for the Macon Telegraph and News.
Yes, sir. Legendary Bill Boyd.
Legendary Bill Boyd. He also had worked with Toys for Tots in Chicago.
He was a Marine.
He was a Marine. And he told me, he said, Joe, and he represented the paper. He said, I'll come up with us a name. I said, okay. So in about 5 days, he said, what do you think about Kids Yule Love? I said, you hit the nail on the head, because that's what it's going to be.
Kids Yule Love.
Kids Yule Love.
I remember our general manager over at 24 at the time, Ken Gertis.
Ken Gertis.
Came over after that meeting and came to my office and said, Ron, here's what we're going to do this Christmas. This is our project.
And we did it. And, you know, we pulled this thing together. And the first year was just so, you know, Don McGuirk told me, he said he wanted 13 counties. I thought, dear God, how can I give you 13 counties and I'm just getting started? And I think he was going to see how intense I was going to be in making this work. And I gave him 15 counties the first year. We had 15 counties. And I met that, and that was from August to December. I had 15 counties set up and had people ready to go. And we even had boxes printed up. We didn't have all the best stuff, but we had where we could take care of a bunch of people, a bunch of kids that would have been done without. Salvation Army, they helped us at the different locations. DFACS, Department of Family and Children's Services in Bibb County, you had Marjorie Allman, and Marjorie, who's still alive to this day, Marjorie, what she would do was get the other DFACS offices to help us.
Miss Blue, too.
Miss Blue, Miss Martha Blue, yes. And we would get, and we had all these other counties. I mean, it's just like, it was a godsend, like God just put everything in front of us, and all we had to do was pick it up and go with it. So the first year, we helped so many families, and we made sure there were no duplications, because everybody had to send their stuff to the Salvation Army. That was one of the things, because they had the master list.
They had expertise too.
They had the expertise into doing this. So, and we did that, and we tried to raise a little money. We had no paid staff for a number of years. I think for the first 14 years we had no paid staff. We only had 2 staff persons in the 35 years that we've been in Kids Yule Love, and neither one of them probably was in the position more than 2 years. So it's really been a non-paid staff program.
How did the schools and other large organizations get involved?
I went to the first school I actually went to was Tatnall, and then Mary Persons up in Forsyth. I had to get to outside of Bibb County.
They're still with you.
Yes, they're still with us, and some of the other schools that's around. I went to those schools also. That now they're still with us also. There's a lot of schools that's with us.
And manufacturers.
Oh Lord,
Boeing.
Boeing.
Yeah.
Boeing stayed with us until they was one of the first ones that stayed. They stayed with us until they left.
Yes.
They moved out. We had Boeing. We had Train. We had a lot of just regular small businesses that came on board with us, and the Macon Telegraph would run a full-page ad for us about every 4 or 5 days. And we had like Powell's Pharmacy that was in Bloomfield, Dr. Powell and them out there, the pharmacists. And we had places like that got free publicity where people would buy stuff and bring it there and drop it off there at their business. We had the Kroger's, the Walmarts, all the Kmarts. Kmart was with us from the beginning while they were here.
What happened, a lot of those businesses and the schools centered their Christmas programs around Kids Yule Love.
Right.
And under those Christmas trees at those places, they had just thousands of gifts.
And like Ron Wildman, the notorious Ron Wildman, He has been with Kids Yule Love for so long, and I thank you so much, Ron.
Well, I didn't give you anything.
Yes, you did. You gave us publicity that we needed. You were there with the publicity, and you're still doing it today. I mean, coming to Tattnall, and Mount DeSales gave Tattnall a run for their money this year, this past Christmas, and they're on board. Presbyterian was on board with us. So we have a lot of the private schools that are working with us. A lot of the public schools are working with us. The new school that's out in North Macon, public school that's out there, Ace Academy had worked with us. Howard, yes, Howard. And I go back to the public schools, and there was a school over off Fort Hill. Now, Miss Stewart was one of the ones in the school system that worked. We had the school system working with us too. And Miss Stewart that was over there, we went to her school, and there was a little boy at that school in Fort Hill area and most of those kids over there are very, very poor, even to this day, those little boys and girls. And he did not have, and this reminded me of the story about the wise men bringing the gifts to Jesus. And this little boy brought in a little toy truck that was worn, you wouldn't want to give it to nobody. But it touched my heart. Now, this was 30 years ago that this happened. And I kept that truck for so long until I had a fire at my home and I lost the truck. But it's still a symbol to me that if a child can give you something that meant so much to him, to somebody else, to have somebody else to have it, maybe it meant something to them. But it touched me more than it would have ever touched anybody else, I'm sure.
Well, those are the kind of things that have kept you going over the years.
Yeah.
Because 35 years later now, this year, the infamous year 2020, seems rather difficult for you.
2020 has been the worst situation, but I got so much faith in God. I got so much, He's never let me down. By letting me down, it would have been letting the children down. And our program is not just children, it deals with senior citizens that have no family. We make sure they have stuff at Christmas if we know who they are. Nursing homes, we take care of those individuals if we know who they are. And we have directors that run those programs. And we make sure that children that don't have Bibles get Bibles. And, I am kind of stickler. I have, and I'm probably wrong in doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway. But we have some people in the application process, we ask them, would you want your child to have a Bible? And there are people that say no. And I'm going to put a Bible in there anyway. It might just reach somebody. And I give them a Bible, and even I will also give a Bible to the parents that said no. I do that.
Well, the difficulty of this year, it starts also with the Macon Fire Department. You can't drop off there this year. Tell us about that.
Man, that was one of the worst things to hit me out of this 2020 with losing the fire department. Because I was a firefighter for 33 years before I retired in 2003. And that incident right there of not being able to use the fire department because of COVID, and I understand the chief's reasoning, and because I'm a county commissioner, I'm not going to try, I'm just not that way of trying to override him. So what I'm trying to do now is just tell the folks, I understand I don't want to put them in harm's way either by doing this. So I'm just asking the folks, there's a list, or go to kidsyulelove.com and look at the address. They can send a monetary donation, or some of these businesses that will be on that page, if they don't want to send a monetary donation, the money will be spent where you ask for it to be spent, then just buy something and take it to one of the businesses that does Kids Yule Love.
Will you be able to have collection boxes anywhere?
No, not anywhere. That's like I don't have boxes at the fire stations. There are other places that businesses that will not allow us to do that also, but
everybody's frightened.
And they've got a right to be. My
Yes,
neighbors, Ron, I've got two of the nicest, friendliest neighbors, and I'm not going to bring their names out. I mean, you know them, but I got a call from them last night. I knew they had the virus, both of them. They're up in age, and I love them to death. And both of them's got Corona-19, and both of them are on intensive care here at the hospital in Macon.
Oh my!
Husband and wife, and they're in their 80s, and you know it would. I pray for them every day, and I pray for this community. I pray for this world that we can get rid of this nasty. A lot of people don't believe about COVID-19, but COVID-19 hit my family. And I was hit one of my grandchildren, one of the twins. And we were very fortunate it didn't even take out even my mother, who's bedridden. And because one of the twins that had it was around my mother with their grandmother and their great-grandmother.
So the schools and the businesses, what have you heard from them?
Most of them say that they're going to try to do something, have to do something differently. This year, I got a talk with Tatnall. They're going to have to do something different. I talked to Mary Persons. They have to do something different. They said they would try to collect toys somehow, but they couldn't have no mass number of words. And you know, I don't want that to occur. You know, we've had to cut the ages. This is one thing that bothers me also. At one time when we first started, I believe that a child, even at 16 years old, that lives at home with family, you try to get something for them, if it's just something, little thing. And so we've had to cut the ages from 16. We've cut the ages down to 12. Now we're at 8 years and younger. So you're talking about a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kid not getting anything for Christmas. So we told the Army, and we've even told Toys for Tots that are here now, the situation with us, because we had given more toys out in the Middle Georgia area than some of the other organizations had, and the situation that we were in. I mean, but see, the difference in us and the military helps Toys for Tots in a way. Then you have Salvation Army, where they got the red kettles and they have people make major donors to them all the time, especially at Christmas. We don't have that because we're seasonal. We do Christmas, we do Easter, we do back to school packs for kids that we don't have anything for school. We're doing that. We do the God Yule Love with the Bibles at Easter. And we've had to drop a program that we were doing with our children in the nursing homes. We don't do that anymore, where the kids would go talk to the elderly because of COVID. I mean, 2020 has been. I mean, I'll be glad when this is over with. I promise you. I mean, it's been a headache.
You're not the Lone Ranger there, Joe.
I'm not. I promise you. It's up to the good Lord, and I'm hoping and I'm praying every day He'll do away with it.
So the biggest need this year, it seems to me, would be cash money.
Cash money would be great, or that's what, yeah, it would be. And just send it to the P.O. Box 2011, Macon 31203. And I know this is only seen in Macon, but our other counties, I'm doing the same thing with them, with their newspapers and with their other stations like in Dublin and stuff, and asking them to do the same thing. And if they send money in, just let us know where the money, what county they're from, and we'll use the money. We'll only use it in the county they tell us to use it in.
You still getting good cooperations from 13, 24, and 41?
Sure. Yeah. Well, one of the stations, 13 and 24. Yeah, great. 41 does
They're
not.
They're Toys for Tots.
They're
pretty
Toys
much.
for Tots mainly, but they'll play it once in a
You
while.
all kind of getting together in a loose, organized way.
Yeah, and the thing about it, and I know them over there. I mean, they're good friends. I mean, they call me as a county commissioner and ask me questions. And I mean, I don't, just because of situations, I don't back off from them, because it's an entirely different organization. Kids Yule Love, me being a county commissioner, me being a retired firefighter, it's just, I play 3 different roles there. I met, I can remember my last call as a firefighter. I met, we went in and we lost 2 kids in January of 2003. We lost 2 kids and a man in a house fire on Napier.
Yes.
And they had taken the batteries out of, and that bothered me too for a long time. They had taken batteries out of the toys and put them out of the smoke detector to put them in the toys. So that we try to get batteries when we give toys to people, and make sure they have batteries. We ask them to do that.
So these media types are getting the word out for you, and now you need the public to respond.
Yeah, really, and the college, even Mercer's baseball, the association for the athletics. That young lady that's over there, she's been so wonderful at doing that. The Marriott, the hotel, the Hilton, the little Hilton that's up here in front of Mercer. They do it every year. They do Kids Yule Love every year. They have boxes up there every year for people coming in, and they fill those boxes up. And they said they'd do it again this year. Like Diane said, these boxes have gone from $9 a box to $12 a box, plus you have to use the printing and all that. So people just don't understand how much money it costs to run a program.
Well, I've been out with you when you made collections. At big events, like I said, they center their Christmas programs around this. And it's just something to behold, to go from one place to another. And the joy in their face, it's just amazing.
Yeah. I think the best thing that I see is we pick families on Christmas Eve, and we take the toys to a family, and we take the media with us. But I asked the mom and the dad, if I have a dad there, or if it have just a dad, not a mom, or just grandparents, can I bring the media? And I've been turned down by a lot of people, but every year we've had a situation where the media could go with us there. And that way, the people that have went into their pockets, whether it's Kids Yule Love, Toys for Tots, Salvation Army, or any church organization, whomever that helps these children or help families, I want them to see where their money goes and show them. And last year, or year before last, we took Toys for Tots, Salvation Army, and took DFAX, and when we made a delivery in Warner Robins. I wanted people to see we work together. It's not a program, one fighting against the other. We're all in it together.
One of your big needs early in this, which would be now, you need a warehouse type situation.
Right. I'm working with talking to, as I talk with leaders in the community that have buildings, to donate a building to us. That we need a building.
You don't need a whole building, you just need...
We just need enough room to store toys, pack them, and get them ready to go for Christmas so Santa can get them to the families.
It's like the North Pole.
We're a warehouse for the North Pole.
Because it's really like that there.
Exactly. You've been there, you saw it.
You got these elves all over the place.
And we've asked people to come and help us at times, but a lot of times you don't need so many people in there trying to help you do this. You're running over sometimes with people. And so we get in there, and we might go in at 6 o'clock in the morning and work 11, 12 o'clock at night trying to get the boxes ready to go and the thing, and so we can call the people. We have people calling people, and we give them set times to be there to pick stuff up.
We're flashing the numbers and the email addresses and everything as we talk here. I want to move over to this is your last few weeks on the Bib Commission. Now, you've been there for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And why are you stepping down? Why did you not seek re-election?
Well, I ran for the chairmanship, and against when we had a death on the board, and I ran against Tommy Olmsted, and I lost. So I stayed out the 4 years, and then the next time, then they asked me to run. Mr. Ellis, Mayor Ellis, asked me to run for the water board. He called me and asked me to run for that seat. I told him, I said, I'm running back for the county commission. If in that, I know it's a 6-year term, but in 2 years, I'll go down there. But in 2 years, I'm gonna run back for the county commission. And he said, that's fine, but we need you down there right now.
I remember when you were down there, you helped start televising those meetings. I shot them for many years when I was up there with Mayor Ellis, and they're still putting those
still doing
meetings
the
on the
meeting.
air right
Right,
now
right.
and doing a great job with them.
And that was one of the things that I'm proud of about being on the Water Authority. I was able to work out a deal with Mayor Ellis that we'd pay him $25,000 a year to record the movie. Let's do the show, our board meetings. I believe the public's got a right to see anything that goes on with government. I personally believe that. So when I left, I went back and ran for the old county commission again. And I got reelected for another 4 years. And then it was coming up, I was in my second term, and they had this consolidation, which at the time, I totally supported. And I support it now. I just think that it did not work the way I thought it was going to work. I thought the city and the county would merge more gracefully than what they did. And what took place was that the city overtook the county, and the city was broke when they overtook the county. And that's where one of the issues was that I had with that. So Ed D4, and the legendary Ed D4 had asked me not to run for the county commission seat. So I didn't. I ran for mayor. I knew I wasn't going to win. I ran for all the wrong reasons. And so I stayed out for 4 years, and then I ran again, and Ed said he wanted just 4 more years. I said, no, Ed, I gave you your 4 years, additional years, so I'm running. I ran against 2 strong, Ed, which is a very strong opponent, and one other individual that ran was a strong opponent, and I won. I needed 12 more votes, and I would not have had a runoff.
So you're putting in 4 years, and these are your last 4 years on the commission.
I'm not happy with the way things happened with this last 4 years, but I think I owe the people more than I gave them this last 4 years. Now I put a committee together that's when I finally got on the finance committee, that they only had $4 million, and they was in the black $4 million. Put a committee together of outside people, brought in smart people like the new mayor's doing, and we went from 4 million to 19, and now we got well over $30 million in fund balance, so they can give employees a raise. Hopefully, I was able to give the employees through the other commissioners $1,000 last year for Christmas bonus, and they've not had a raise in 12 years.
Well, he just gave me the signal to wrap it up, Joe. Kids Yule Love in your 4 years, plus your 26 others on the commission. It's been quite a career, and we want to wish you the best of luck in the future, especially this coming Christmas.
Yeah, we need, and please, folks, help us out. If you can spare some money now, please send it to Kids Yule Love, P.O. Box, or go to kidsyulelove.com. We need your help. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so we can help you.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you, and hope we have a Merry Christmas, and hope this virus goes away soon.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, folks, for joining us. I'm Ron Wildman here at WNUB TV.